evaluate sinusoidal functions. First I'm going to graph this trig function right here, and I have a 5-step process. Step 1 is mark up equation. So this is vertical shift, amplitude. I find my period by doing 2 pi divided by pi over 10. So 2 pi divided by pi over 10 is 20. So my period is 20, and this is phase shift. Step 2, label y-axis. So this is going to give me my y. So from 2, I go up 5 to 7, down 5 to -3. Step 3, label x-axis. So I start at 3. I end 20 units later at 23. A half cycle in 10. So my half cycle will be 3 plus 10, 13. A quarter cycle will be 5 after that, 8. Plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 18. Plus 5 is 23. Step 4 is look at what function it is and put in critical points. So it's a cosine. Cosine starts up. At the end of the period it'll be up. Halfway through the cycle it'll be down. The first quarter, the middle on the y, and the third quarter. Then I connect my dots. And then step 5 is I check my function. So I'll pick any point. I guess I'll pick 13 and plug it in. 13 minus 3 is 10. Times pi over 10 is pi. Cosine of pi is cosine of 180, -1 over 1. So this is -1 times 5, -5, plus 2, -3. So I have the correct graph. Then the next, so I'm sure my graph is correct. It cycles between 3 and 23. It'll do another cycle between 23 and 43, between 43 and 63, between 63 and 83. It's infinite in both directions. It'll also do a cycle between 3 and -17. So it'll do another cycle here. Okay. Then the next thing I want to do, part A on this problem says find f of 7.8. I'm in radian measure. I take 7.8, that's an x value. I take that value and I plug it in for x. So first thing I'm going to do on my calculator is put in radian mode because I have an x. And I'm going to work from right to left. So in radian mode I go 7.8 minus 3 times pi equals divided by 10, and that gives me 1.5. Then I'm going to take the cosine of that, cosine of my answer, times 5 plus 2, and that'll give me 2.3. So f of 7.8 is equal to 2.3. Let's see if that even makes sense. Right here is 8. 8 corresponds to 2. 7.8 is a little bit in front of that. So right here at 7.8, my corresponding y value is 2.3. So that looks right. Okay, then the next part here is find x if y equals 6. So let me get this out of the way. Y equals 6 is going to be right here. And I can see when I have a y value, there's an infinite series of x values. So I have to find both my calculator value and use my graph to find all my other values. So what I'm doing now, let me erase this. What I'm doing now is I'm saying y is 6. I replace y with 6, and I solve for x. This is different. I'm not just plugging in and evaluating. I'm actually solving for x, so I have to isolate it. Okay? So the way I'm going to do that, the way I have to get x by itself, is I subtract 2 from both sides, and I get 4 equals 5 cosine pi over 10, x minus 3. Still isolating x, I divide both sides by 4. Running out of room here. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. Isolating this, I take the arc cosine of both sides. That's gone. Still trying to get this by itself, I multiply both sides by 10 over pi. That's gone. And now I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And that's gone. So now I can see x is equal to that. So in radian mode, I take the arc cosine, 0.8 times 10 divided by pi plus 3, and I get 5. So see where that is. So when y is 6, my corresponding x value is 5. That looks right. So the way I figure out the other values is I know that these graphs are symmetrical over the high points and low points. So if this is 2 units away here, this value has to be 2 units away as well. So if this is 2, this is 2, and my first value is 1. So now when y is 6, I have my first value, my second value. My third value is 1 cycle beyond this value. So it does a cycle in 20. 1 plus 20 is 21. Here's my third value. 5 plus 20 is 25. I can see these are 2 units away and 2 units away. They're all symmetrical. So here's my first 4 values. My fifth value would be 20 units past this, 41. So if the problem is find x when y, or f of x, is equal to 6, my general solution is 1 plus 20n and 5 plus 20n, where n is equal to the number of cycles away I am. This really kind of sums up everything we've done so far in pre-calculus. Be able to graph a cosine function, use that as a model to evaluate it, both given an x, find the corresponding y, or given the y, find the series of solution on the x-axis. Evaluating sine functions.